Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Phoenix History podcast, and I'm joined by, well, it's got to be a special guest because they all are, but very special to me because it's quite a personal journey with the story of this person. We're talking about Nick from Get Wild.
Hello,
mate.
yeah, thanks for having me on.
So, I'm going to start with how I've come to know you and your journey and stuff, and then obviously you can just, yeah. So it gives me a good excuse to be a bit of a fanboy for a second. But basically, we were chatting off camera that really we've known the scene. Let's just say scene is probably a good one. I don't know, like the exploring community.
Yeah, that's it.
For a very long time now, and we know probably like a few people and all this sort of stuff. But really, I came to know you fairly recently in terms of your Get Wild channel on YouTube. And I've got to admit, mate, it is one of the most interesting channels.
Oh, thank you.
I religiously will watch it all the time, like your shorts and everything else. I mean, it's just so interesting because fundamentally you cover something that I don't normally talk about on this channel, but it's something that is actually a bit of a moniker underneath, which is conservation and wildlife.
Yeah.
We've all made mistakes sometimes. We've all accidentally probably gone into a cave and we've assumed there's no bats in there. And then surprise, there is. And you hope that you do it out of season and blah, blah. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sure people have got their own funny stories of like, oh my God, there's a bat. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
And I'm sure sometimes we've gone into like, maybe we've gone into like a place in the middle of nowhere and there's a badger's den or something like that. But hey, look, none of us are perfect on that. But we, like I said, especially on our channel, and I know you do, Nick, we try to respect it as much.
Yeah, that's it. And those encounters spark an interest. So ultimately, sometimes it's the greater good.
So, yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? So, I mean, obviously I've been following your channel for a long time now, and really, like I said, the main passion you've got is obviously nature and conservation. But tell me about, or tell the audience more importantly, about your journey really with it all.
Yeah, so I've always had a massive passion for the outdoors. I was lucky enough to grow up on a little council estate, and we were surrounded by allotments. We had a great big chalk pit I used to play in from 8 years old, and I was always out there. And it's very much a different childhood to what people have today. And I just had this massive appreciation for the outdoors. And I've always been urbexing, and I'm a real history buff. I really appreciate history and exploring lots of tunnels and stuff and anything outdoors. And of course, I've also got a massive passion for nature and wildlife. And that's what I do with Get Wild.
Because you're really involved in that now, aren't you? And obviously I've seen like a few posts on your Facebook, for example, and you're really in the heart of Thanet, let's just sort of say, for where you're based.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of important projects that are going on now. And I suppose like with anything, there's a lot of redevelopment and probably partially because Thanet really for a very long time, obviously you live closer so you'd know, but I mean for me, obviously visiting a lot of the time, it's been largely sort of left in terms of, you know, building wise. Let's just sort of say.
It's getting a real hit from development now. But it's been hard, and also it is out of the State of Nature report in 2016 found the UK, depending how you look at it politically, there's about 213 countries in the world. The UK came something like 198th in the most nature depleted countries, and Thanet is one of the most nature depleted districts in all of the UK.
Wow,
so it's a really hard place to be a naturalist. But when you've got an appreciation for the environment, you do have a dark cloud over you. And it does involve you getting involved in campaigns and trying to preserve, restore, and tell the stories of what you can.
I know this sounds a little bit sort of like unusual to talk about, but obviously I'm of a generation that remembers Animals of Farthing Wood.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's it.
And they were probably roughly the same age. And it had a huge impact on me growing up. Because I looked, funny enough, I've told this story to a few people. I looked at it about a year ago, 2 years ago, and it is so much darker than I remember.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
like as a kid, I was like, they're dying.
Yeah, the bulldozers rolling in.
Oh
and,
man.
That's it.
But see, because I grew up on a farm, or partially grew up on a farm, let's just sort of say, in the real heart of Kent countryside on the sort of western Kent side, and so I was always attached to nature, but I probably took it for granted.
Yeah, that's it, absolutely.
And I think that's the thing is that my mum, bless her, she's all, even when me and mum sometimes would go for a walk, she would always say, "Oh, what's that?" You know, probably pick me up on the noises of birds.
Yeah.
And I've got a little. I pride myself now, and I've got a proper little bird box. I'm very into, and obviously you mentioned about the RSPB, obviously with the campaign at the moment.
The Big Garden Bird Watch.
Big Garden Bird Watch. And I've really just and because like I said, both of us are the same, that we've got the same sort of experiences of going out exploring and all this stuff, and we just love the outdoors. I think it is a case of we probably do take it for a little bit.
It's an intrinsic part.
It is.
We do. When I used to be out as a kid down the Minster Marshes, which is about 4 miles west of us now, we're at Pegwell Bay. I would, in the summer, I'd be down there fishing, and it would be the sound of turtle doves just
Oh,
constantly
yeah.
through the summer, and I took it for granted.
Yeah.
Now they're at threat of extinction with something like a 99% decline since the 70s.
One of your,
It's just-
yeah, it's
It's changed. We've lost over 40% of worldwide wildlife in my lifetime. It's in a real bad state. Yeah.
I mean, one of the best videos I saw recently of yours was the geese flying over.
Oh,
the
yeah,
top.
that's it.
And
That's a
it
popular
was
one.
just so incredible. So obviously,
Brent geese.
Yeah, we'll put a link down obviously to your channel as well. But please go check out your stuff because like I said, one of the best videos you've done recently, and it just blew me away because of the noise, the visual of it.
Yeah.
And the fact you were right underneath
Yeah,
them,
that's
it's
it.
just so cool. Put it into context, just so people know. But you were literally, where were you? You were,
Yeah,
you
I
were
was
so
at
far away,
Minnis
weren't
Bay.
you?
We
Minnis
have
Bay, yeah.
we have Brent geese visiting us from the Arctic, and they visit us for the winter.
Yeah.
And they're on the fields, and I've got an electric skateboard.
That's right,
And
yeah.
I get out around the coastline, sort of seeing what's going on that, and I saw the geese rafting out at sea, and unfortunately they get disturbed now and again by
Right,
people,
yeah.
which cumulatively can have a massive impact on them. And up they went, and I happened to be under their flight path, and this flock of about 500 Brent geese just come over the top
Oh,
of me, and
mate,
it was,
yeah.
and I happened to get it on video.
I
It's
know.
phenomenal.
Honestly, it was one of their videos. I had to watch it a couple of times, and I was just like, "This is incredible."
Yeah, that's
how many
it.
people get? But the point is, again, I wonder how many people that's probably happened to, but not even realised how incredible that is.
Yeah,
Does
that's
that
it.
make sense?
Yeah,
You just walk
totally.
by and they'll just see them fly, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they just go, oh, it's
I get
so
that.
good.
I'll be filming something and no one will be paying attention. Like I'm currently working on a really exciting project, which I haven't made public on my channels yet, but I'm working on installing a peregrine falcon nest box.
Oh, wow.
So this is the world's fastest animal, the peregrine,
Yeah.
on top of Arlington House in Margate. And I'll be down at the bottom on the seafront filming the world's fastest animal that's just smashed a pigeon over. They can fly at over 200 miles an hour in a stoop. And people are paying absolutely no attention, don't even know it's
that's
there.
exactly
And you're
it.
like, all these
I
people
know,
don't realise
I
when
know.
you've got that connection,
Oh.
life is that much more exciting.
I don't know if you've been watching it, but I'm addicted to it now. I mean, there was the first episode properly, I think, came out with Sean Bean. Has done the,
I saw that in Guy
loved
Garvey.
it.
Yeah,
I
that's
loved
it.
it so much. But do you know what I loved about it? Was Sean being so honest. He's like, I don't necessarily recognise the but I'm just
Yeah,
into
I'm glad
it.
he said
And I
that.
just think that's great. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really humbling, the fact of, I'm the same. Like, my mum, God bless her, loves to test me, but I can't remember every single one.
No, that's it. And you
But-
forget, yeah.
But it's when you, and like I said on my bird box, I've got I've got typical wood pigeons, magpies, blue tits, and we've
Yeah.
also got long-tailed tits.
Oh,
as well,
nice.
Which is coming
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
which I'm so happy about because my mum was like, "Oh, you didn't realise?" I was like, "No," because they look like normal, but they've just got longer tails.
They look
really.
like a flying teaspoon
that's
is an
literally
old
it.
name for them, yeah.
Yeah, a bit like a cross between that and a wagtail. Was that right? A wagtail's
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of got that sort of similar
similar. Yeah,
tail-ish.
yeah,
Sorry,
that's
forgive my
it.
naivety
Yeah,
on
yeah.
nature. But yeah, and that's what I've got on mine. Obviously,
Yeah.
in the classic starlings as well. But the problem with starlings to me is they're very greedy.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
swoop down and eat all my food. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's it. They are
okay.
they are a mob.
Yeah, they are a mob.
They are in need of our help too. Yeah, that's one of the things that gets to me a bit is people think I know everything, but I really don't know everything, and that's why I love it. It would be boring if you knew it all.
But that's the thing. It's like no, but I appreciate that because I say, but we're the same on our channel. Is that like
Yeah.
we love history in general, and each of us, like Sophie's got her medieval ruins that she's really passionate about, and that's her sort of specialist subject. Mine's probably more Neolithic, round barrow sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And like obviously Paul's probably got his sort of Paul's a bit more of an all rounder, but we love learning new stuff when we're
Yeah,
exploring.
yeah, absolutely. That's what it's
You know,
about.
it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how many World War II places we've gone to. There's always going to be something that's going to be different, and we're just like, okay, but we humbly sort of say,
Yeah,
"Hey, look, we're not going to get this all right." Do
that's it.
you know what I mean? We'll try,
Yeah, yeah.
but we won't get it. But for us, we like the idea that because we're learning whilst we're doing it. as
Yeah,
well.
that's it. Absolutely.
It's like great.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think sometimes people, because we've got our own specialist thing, it's just like it's great for us when we do get those opportunities.
Yeah.
But like I said, because like I said, we're a cross between a lot of different things in terms of like real stories and all
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's quite a mountain of sort of information.
Yeah,
to
that's
do,
it.
But we love it.
And if when you put your work in the public eye, you'll soon get criticised if you get something wrong.
Absolutely. But I think that's the beautiful thing about the YouTube community, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll pick you up straight away
Yeah,
when you've
that's
done.
it.
You put all this hard work into it, and then they'll be like, "No, got that
Yeah,
wrong."
that's it. You pronounce something wrong. That's it.
Yeah, pronunciation. Don't even get started on that.
I'm always pronouncing stuff wrong. A lot of my knowledge I got. My parents weren't into nature. I just sort of got it
okay.
myself, and I learnt bits off TV, the Really Wild Show, and reading books. And because some of my knowledge is from reading books, I therefore pronounce things wrong. So I've kind of had to get things right.
Yeah, because I think because I said because obviously like I said those TV programs when we were kids as well. The fact that they were regimented on TV.
Yeah.
We didn't have like the option of like a billion channels that we could look at. It was like every time we finished school, you'd be like you'd be watching all these sort of like obviously Chris Packham was quite a huge thing.
Yeah.
Michaeli Strachan, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like, as a kid, you just sort of feel invested in it. Even Blue Peter had quite a good sort of vibe about trying to get that into it.
It was great fun. Getting home from school and taking school shoes off and sitting down
that was
the telly.
it. That was it. And I think it's really important to just recognise it. I know. Things have changed. But I wanted to talk about as well, because obviously I've lived in Kent, same as you all my life sort of thing. And although I've been on the west side of Kent, I am. It doesn't matter where I travel. I genuinely think, you can correct me, but I still think the Kent coastline in general is probably one of the most diverse, interesting coastlines you've got. When I look at the fact you've got the White Cliffs of Dover, and then you come all the way down to Dungeness, to this beautiful, different, complete bleak landscape. What they call it, I love it on there. I don't know if people know, but they call it the seventh wonder of the world.
Or Dungeness,
which I love the humour of that.
They do.
And I just see it's so like any other coastline. No offence to any other counties, by the way. But it really is like that. We're just on the butt end, and you look at the coastline, you think how much it's so different.
Yeah. And being close to Europe, we get a lot of migrants. Pegwell Bay behind me is a phenomenal place, and we get lots of migrants arriving and overwintering birds. And in the autumn time, the migrants that have been in the UK sort of gather up on the south coast before they cross the channel and head south. So down here, we get great big numbers of birds gathering up to cross the channel, and it's a great place. And people from Thanet, where we are, take our chalk cliffs for granted. Chalk cliffs are very unique. And to think that chalk is the exoskeleton of a microorganism that has been laid down over millions of years is just phenomenal.
It's remarkable, isn't it? And I really do love our Kent coast. Because I just think like, when you really think about how different, even from like, so obviously going from Gravesend, where it mixes with the Thames and it goes to the Medway and it comes all the way down. It's totally different. It's like almost tribal in a way. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, got these different aspects. And then, like, as you come into Kent, I mean, people already know on the channel, the place I love the most is Rye. And I love Romney Marsh. And I just love that weird divide of just the beauty and the fact that most of it still remain pretty much unchanged.
It is,
And I really can't get enough of it. There's just, I don't know, maybe it's like a past life, I believe, but I'm totally drawn to it. I can't understand why.
It's been heavily modified with sheep farming, isn't it? It's all been cleared, and you've got the lovely little steam rail and the little railway goes around.
I know.
I try and make the effort to get there every year. It's a great place.
Where is your favourite place in Kent, though, for you?
Where we are right now. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's Pegwell Bay. Pegwell Bay is a site of special scientific interest. It's a Ramsar site, an SPA, an SAC. It's got every accreditation it could have. And the country park, the nature reserve down there, used to be a landfill site. And then in 1983, which when I was born, it became a country park. And then in 1999, Sir David Attenborough classed this area. He came here
I didn't know that.
And he classed it as a nature reserve.
Well,
and it got that protection. It got that as well.
Because I say the same story about, obviously we're literally a stone's throw away from the Hoverpool. I actually went on that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
wow.
we were only. I'm 85.
Right.
So we literally like a couple of years apart.
It closed like late 90s.
Yeah, and I remember very young. My parents reminded me that when we were very, very young, we actually took that over to France or wherever it was at the time, and it was very.
Yeah, I missed that.
To see it now. The fact that there's nothing there left, but it's kind of like, it's
a unique place now, the Hoverport, and it butts up to the Triple SI. And reclaimed, rewilded urban sprawl like that is one of the rarest habitats going. We've got salt marsh, we've got woodland, we've got rivers, we've got wetlands, but reclaimed industrial habitat is very rare, and that's what that is. We've got very rare orchids down there, lots of wildlife down there, reptiles. We've got all sorts down there now.
I want to, for the benefit of people out there, I'd love it if you could give some advice or tips on anything specifically.Maybe, like, because obviously you've got the bird watching at the moment. You've done a special video on, so I don't want to sort of feel like you're repeating yourself on that. But if people have just got just a normal garden, let's just sort of say, when I say normal, just a normal, like, mini humbling plot of land, what's a great way to encourage nature?
That's a good and very important question. Number one is very easily a pond.
Right, okay.
A water source is vital. Animals want to come and drink from it, washing it and socialising it. and then you'll get the actual life that lives in the pond.
Well, we had a bird in the old place. We had a bird pub, and it was literally the focal hub. It was
Yeah,
like the
great.
Costa of
Yeah.
bird world. It was just incredible, and it was
And very often people have kids and they therefore fit in the pond, but it's a big mistake. My kids have grown up with a pond in the front garden, a pond in the back garden. I've also got a set of stairs, a drawer full of knives, a cupboard full of chemicals, a busy road outside my house. You know, life has hazards. And the pond is one of the much smaller hazards.
I appreciate
and it only has to be small. And the joy my kids get from playing in the pond is phenomenal. They're smashing up the ice in the morning when it's frozen, and they get their tadpoles out and they put them into little social families in their little dishes. It entertains them for hours, and the life that the pond brings to your garden is phenomenal. And then ultimately, as we're quite aware now, is just don't be so obsessive with tidy in the garden.
Okay.
You know, and it was ingrained into me to cut the grass every week. Relax.
Okay.
You know, you can still cut your grass if you're going to play cricket and football, but just relax the regime a bit and leave some areas if you can, because you've got to let some wild in and let some plants for the pollinators.
Goes against the grain, doesn't it?
It does. It's hard.
Yeah.
But my front garden, I've let go wild, and I cut it 3 times a year because I haven't got animals that are going to eat it like you would in the natural world. So you have to cut it.
Okay.
And I have people standing outside my house taking photographs of all the different wildflowers in my front lawn, and all my neighbours are like bowling greens, and then my garden is like got all the butterflies in it, the bees in it, the birds in it, and it's very low maintenance because, you know, I pick out the odd invasive weed that would dominate, but other than that, it's so low maintenance. It's really easy.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? I think people seem to get probably within that. It really doesn't take that much to encourage wildlife.
No, that's it.
Really?
It will come.
You've got to be a bit patient, probably sometimes, but it will be there.
That's it.
I was still amazed that when I used to gig in London, for example, you'd see the urban foxes, and they were like in these big flat complex, and I'm like, how did they even get there? Do you know what I mean? Like nature will find a way fundamentally.
Absolutely.
And I've, as I've said on this channel before, like I think this is why I'm so passionate potentially about exploring these abandoned places, because nature will reclaim that. If humans don't bulldoze over it,
that's it.
let's not get into that. But like if humans don't do that and ruin incredible history, then nature will take it over. And
absolutely.
I love the fact that nature will take it over, but it will still be lost over time. We still need to sometimes remind ourselves of these important places.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I like about content creation and YouTube and stuff, because, you know, we capture that history in digital video, and it's immortalized then.
Absolutely.
So it's really important to report on those things.
Could you, I mean, because obviously you have travelled quite a bit as well, and obviously it's proven on your YouTube. Is there anywhere else that you've explored that's really sort of inspired you?
Oh, I've been so fortunate. In 2010, me and my girlfriend at the time, now wife, before we got married, before we bought a house, before we had kids, we got a ticket to fly around the world.
Oh wow!
And I'm quite conscious about my carbon footprint, so we flew around the world, and we done bus, and we done loads, and then we haven't flown for a long time since, so we kind of did it in one hit. But Yosemite National Park, Yellowstone National Park,
wow, okay,
even Niagara Falls, it was great. But New Zealand, hands down, New Zealand was phenomenal. It was like stepping back thousands of years.
Yeah, I bet.
So the best place I've been in the world was a place called Kaikoura in New Zealand, on the east coast of the South Island. And it's absolutely phenomenal. We were out there fishing, and albatross are hanging around us, flying over us, and we had dolphins swimming alongside us.
Wow.
And I'm going for a run on the mainland, and I've got sea lions just laying on the path. Like, it was just, the wildlife there was absolutely phenomenal.
It must be so inspiring, though. Do you know what I mean? When you go to that, and I, you know, I the only way I can ever compare it is like when we get these exclusive permission visits on our channel. It reminds me how lucky we are that we can have those. You know, you otherwise you take it for granted. You're like, oh, and then we've actually got this opportunity to explore this incredible piece of history. You know what I mean? Same thing with nature. Is that I can imagine you get this opportunity to travel to this place. It's like, this is it.
America was good because we started introducing ourselves to people, because as soon as people heard our accent in America, we were traveling by Greyhound bus, and they wouldn't leave you alone. They would treat you like, do you know the Queen? My friend John's got a brother that lives in Somerset. Do you know him? I'm like,
wow.
They got no idea. Anyway, I started introducing ourselves as we're from England, where history comes from. Because
basically
they are absolutely fascinated. They think you live in a castle. They've just got the history we've got is is immense compared to America.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? And like I said, and like I said, you combine that with nature and the fact that it's just this wonderful thing. I mean, I love seeing like a medieval ruin. It's got the vines or the ivy that's coming through it, and it's hidden in this little copse or something, and you're just like, oh, it's really beautiful. But you've got to sometimes, like you said, just stop and take that in. You know, and I think that I've spoken to many people about it, but it's the fact that sometimes you just got to put the camera down for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
go, right, we're in this.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah, just think about it. We're in this moment. We've got this opportunity. Let's just breathe. Let's just take it all in and let's just go for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's so fascinating. But you know, for as much as Bray Kent's redevelopment is what it is, I still think it's a beautiful area. That, you know, I'd like to think that hopefully in the future there might be a way that we get even more, I don't know, more awareness, as you sort of say, of that.
Yeah, we're getting there, and it needs biodiversity net gain was brought in that you have to, but that's not being policed. You know, and I know we're going to keep building. We've got to keep building.
Yeah.
And I rarely use the phrase "stop building." I just say "build better."
Good idea.
Because we've got this crazy format, and in Thanet we've got so many Airbnbs, so many second homes, thousands. We've got thousands of unused properties as well, and yet we still keep building and building. But if we built maybe flats and chalets and don't worry too much about the gardens, but build a nice allotment that will bring communities together at the weekend, and because we're building these houses with high side boxes for gardens and there's no social structure in the neighbourhood anymore. We need to bring people together more by changing the way we build.
You said something really interesting to me, which is allotments, because I've seen the power of what allotments can do.
I love
for
an
a
allotment.
community.
Yeah,
because it is just an incredible focal hub. But my best friend Josh lives in a tower flat in Worthing, and he's bought an allotment with his partner, and it is genuinely their thing that they go out there. They've purposely got a plot that's about 20 minutes from where they are,
right? Yeah.
So they can actually make the pilgrimage, to actually go. This is worth it, and then they grow their own vegetables. Yeah. And he says, do you know what? Not only is it cheaper than getting them in the supermarket, but it's the fact that you've made that yourself,
and it's got real nutrients in it.
Absolutely, right.
And they're so diverse allotments, and that's why they're brilliant for wildlife. Absolutely brilliant for wildlife.
I think the other thing as well, what I wanted to speak about, is the impact that we forget that children and kids, if you show them, like you're talking about your kids, they see this wildlife. There is still that magical element, isn't there?
I do a lot of talks to scouts, and I do adult groups, a lot of public speaking, and they say you've got to inspire the kids. And I say, well, you find me a kid that's not inspired. Yeah. The trick is the teenagers losing it.
Yeah, very true.
And when I was in my teens, I didn't lose it. I was true to who I am. Yeah. And I think people become so desperate to fit in with the crowd that they're worried about what team they support, what they drink, where they go, how they dress. And I didn't care about that. I just wanted to get home and get on my bike jumps and build my base. And I was still making tree houses at 18 years old.
But again, I think it's down to the media sort of side of things. Is that growing up for us, like I said, we had Chris Packer and Michaela Stratton. And they were incredible presenters, very enthusiastic. And it was just like, and it really gave us as a youth sort of like, oh, they're like, kind of, not role models necessarily, it's quite a strong word, but people to look up to.
Yeah, Chris Packer's my absolute hero, and he is my role model. And I've been lucky to meet him a few times. I got to go on the set of Springwatch one year.
Oh, fantastic.
It was incredible. And I wouldn't be doing what I was doing if it wasn't for him. He's absolutely incredible.
It's just a shame that there aren't many more. I suppose, like with anything, it depends where you take your interest, sort of thing. I think that's why I've been such a champion of your channel, because it's so personable, it's so real to you, and it's so interesting. Like I said, I mean, actually, I was recording this. You did a Peggle Bay postcard comparison, which was really good, and I love that. I thought,
it was an old postcard, wasn't it? And then versus now, what it looks like.
I love that. Yeah, we did that. We were down in Worcestershire, and there was an old folly. And we did an overlay of an old photo that had been taken, how different it had changed. But the fact that we actually managed to overlay it and get roughly the dimension of it, so brilliant.
Those pictures perform well. They people love then and nows.
It's amazing. Do you think though that obviously, you know, I mean, Thanet, for all intents and purposes, depending on how much you look, it's got quite probably a strong historical connection in terms of its love of it. Because obviously Ramsgate Tunnels, when they they really ignited.
Yeah, I'm so pleased they've done that.
Really ignited the whole sort of like town, for example. I mean, obviously we're both of an age when we remember when that wasn't. It wasn't a thing.
Just the abandoned railway line.
Probably one of my biggest regrets, probably not regrets, because I mean, there's always a chance to always go into it, but probably at the time when it was a band, just to see it, it's probably raw.
That's the only time I've seen it. I've not been in there. I've been in there, but not all the way in
Really?
since it opened officially.
Interesting.
But I've been in there a lot when it was abandoned, and it was phenomenal. Explore, and back in the days of the old light bulbs and the old batteries, and you'd like run out of torches.
Yes.
It was pitch black.
This is what. Oh man, don't even, because I talk about it all the time.
Yeah, you didn't have phone lights or.
It's even looking at the progression of my channel for the fact that I just used a normal torch, and because I wasn't somebody by camera, as most people know, but to use literally the weakest torch. But for me, exploring, that was enough.
Yeah, that's
But when you start filming, it's no. You need to get like the brightest thing. Because otherwise, if you're filming on your own, you're kind of like, that's not going to come through.
There's a great explore called the Witch's Kitchen near where we are now. And I took my daughter down there when she was about 8, and I took some tea candles down there.
Oh, wow.
And they always had those little scalloped out bits where the candles. I lit the candles, and we sat in there, and that's how it would have been for the smugglers or whatever it was used for. Just candlelight, and it is so dark. And to think they did that.
I mean, basically, for people who don't know, I mean, Ramsgate is pretty much a whole tunnel system.
Yeah, absolutely littered.
Let's just say, for people who don't know aware, it is
lots of tunnels.
Massive. But its claim to fame list just sort of says it starts with the former railway tunnel, and then it just sort of extends out. And
we've got lots of smugglers' tunnels as well. Yeah.
I mean, it's we were talking off camera. Really, in my stupid naivety, I've not really actually done enough around here. And I think this is what we were talking about. Like I said, that I think it's time probably for me to put my ideas up and go. Actually, you know what? I've been so busy everywhere else, I just sort of forget. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, Ken has just this pool, and it's just like that. You take it for granted a lot of the time. Like I said, with the history and sometimes the ease at which, like you said, you could walk around Pegwell Bay and seeing lots of sea caves and all this sort of stuff, and just have like a basic explore, and then you forget that it's just littered with like interesting places, isn't it? I mean, even we're not even far away from Manston, which was probably the only, I think it's the only World War II airfield that had ever was out of decommission after it had been attacked.
Right.
It's the only airfield in World War II that once it had been completely bombed by the Germans, they decided to leave it because and then what they did was after that they then from memory, please forgive me everybody, but I'm almost sure that's the only one that ever got totaled.
Interesting.
Enough that after that they were like, we can't, it's too much for us.
Yeah, that's it.
So then later on, then they started to redo the airfield and the airport, and it was just but again, like I said, even just here, Vikings, Hugen, is it Hugen? Hugen,
that's a Hugen Viking ship, and that arrived in Viking Bay in Broadstairs. They renamed it Viking Bay for that reason.
Oh, I didn't know they actually named it because of that. Right.
But then the Daily Mail donated it to the people of Thanet, and it ended up there.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's really bizarre. I love it. I just love it. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the beautiful thing about this, like I said, is it's because you've got like such a wealth of different things here.
Yeah.
I mean, even Sandwich, I mean, we can talk about that. I love that.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Medieval. Still got a sort of medieval layout.
Yeah.
And it's remarkable around there. Really.
So I started out making content as wildlife conservation in Thanet, and that title put me in a box.
Yes.
I wanted to include things like history on Viking ships, tunnels. I wanted to do outdoors. So I rebranded myself Get Wild, which kind of gave the idea that you're going to be anything outdoors.
I love that. Yeah.
So I was able to, it took me out of the box and got me going. And I was always too shy to put myself in front of the camera. I hated the sound of my voice.
I'm doing the opposite
I felt
now.
silly.
Get away from it.
But then lockdown happened.
Yeah.
And I did, on my one walk a day, I did a video. So my first video was about native daffodils. People don't realise we have a native daffodil.
Wow.
And I did a bit about that and why they are so much better than the ornamentals, which, to be honest, are a load of rubbish. And loads of people liked that video. And I started to realise that people didn't know these things. I was like, wow, people didn't know we had a native daffodil. So I did a video on my next dog walk, and I ended up doing 50 consecutive lockdown diaries. And then that's how Get Wild took off. Because it gave me the confidence to get in front of the camera. And a lot of podcasters and YouTubers and that kind of took off through lockdown.
Yeah, it did.
I'm one of those people. Because it was sitting there dormant for so long, and then it took off in lockdown.
I remember actually during lockdown, I was like so restrictive. Because actually, funny enough, the channel, ironically, even though I've been going for a while, really started to, I've been a bit lazy with it. I think really is probably the polite way of saying it. Yeah. And I think lockdown really sort of woke me up to the fact of, actually, like we need to sort of just carry on with this and sort of do something. But it was fascinating. But I need to clarify actually with us. I didn't feel, we rushed into it. My fault. I got excited. We met before, but really weirdly, So me and Sophie were out in the car,
Right.
and you came along, didn't
Oh
you?
yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, long story short, not too long ago now, maybe a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and I've been watching your channel like religiously, and then like me and Sophie just parked up. We were just having a day out for ourselves, and so we were talking about the drone, and we were just going to get some little practice in really with it. And like all of a sudden, you just walk out with your daughter and your dog. And I've patted Sophie on the side. I'm like, that's the guy from Get Wild. And I said, I've wanted to get in contact with him to do a podcast. Ironically, where we are now.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird thing because I sort of thought, I'll go up to you. Sort of thing. I just got to be brave and bite the bullet and just go, you're right. And then we spoke, didn't we, briefly about Witch's Kitchen and all that stuff. And it was just like, again, to my shame, not really ever recorded it on the channel. But it was a bizarre encounter because of all the places. It was like literally, it was like you're coming off the footpath. We've literally just parked opposite. The timing was like
it's
right
funny,
on. So bizarre. Sophie was like, oh, that was meant to be there, wasn't it? I said, yeah, but that's a bit too close. You know, like when you just sort of think, you're literally just parked there. You've walked down and you're like, there's no way. A minute or so out, you would have been on and we wouldn't have been wherever. I was like, blimey. And it was one of them rare occasions where me and Sophie, we just didn't want to film. We were just like, we just want to go out. Just go for a little wander.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, and it's, but I forgot to put that in. So, Nick, I want to ask you, what is the future of the channel really for you? And what's channel, I suppose, in the Facebook as well, because you've got an incredible following on your Facebook as well.
Yeah, Facebook is the main platform.
Yeah. We'll put all the links down below.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I've got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, and I do a bit of X.
Yeah.
The future for it is a tricky one. It's kind of reached its maximum capacity now, and I struggle to keep up with it.
Right.
Because I have a real job. I have a young family. I have all the stresses that go with that. So trying to find time to do Get Wild, which is a passion project, is really hard. But I want to just carry on where I am. I want to do more talks and get involved in more campaigns. And as my kids get older and take up less of my time, I can put a bit more into it.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to kind of slowly evolve over time because that's all I can commit to it.
I think it's been a mini fanboy yours. I think the best thing that I love about yours are your shorts because I think they really encapsulate just there are. I think your shorts are like the perfect shorts, if that makes sense.
They're hard to make shorts.
They're hard to make, but the ones you do, they are probably some of the best shorts I've seen on the channel because they just hit the mark.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like there was one about dead swans, I think, and there was there's a few, and on the green dye as well. But the point was that they really hit the mark for me because they're these. Even the one you did about the birds for the ISP, you know, like they just hit the mark, and I just love them. And I think some people can criticise shorts being, well, you know, ruins people's attention span.
Yeah, that's it.
But sometimes you just need that bite-sized bit of information.
You've got to capture them as they scroll 100%. Through the feed, and it's hard to do.
And in a strange way, I think nature stuff really suits shorts because it's either going to do one or two things, in my opinion. I think it's either going to encourage you to go out or it's going to give you that little bit of information you need for the day just to feel a bit like, I can know something about today. Do you know what I mean?
I can spend half a day making a 2-minute video.
Really?
Yeah, it takes a lot it can take a lot of time, especially the edit. Yeah. And there's lots of stuff that you really don't want to take out, but you have to take out because it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So shorts are really hard to deliver the message that quick.
So honestly, mate, just like I said, incredible stuff you do with all that. I mean, but what I was going to say was obviously because with moving forward with all that, and obviously time, like we all know, is obviously a difficult thing, especially. And I suppose probably the other thing that punishes you is that the better the channel becomes, then you start having this unusual like, oh, should I put more time into it now because we've got more subscribers, or do I just keep sticking to my guns because if I don't do that, I'm not going to really get with it, you know.
That's the tricky bit because ultimately I need it. I've got a lot of bills to pay. And so a mouse to feed. So I need it to pay. And unfortunately, with the environment, there's a real stigma attached that you're a charity. So if you're going into a school to perform magic or teach your kids how to play football, you're going to get paid. If you want to go in and talk to the kids about the reintroduction of beavers, they're going to be shocked if you ask them for even a tenner.
No, I know, yeah.
So it's a real stigma, and it's it's something that will probably never pay.
And I think that's the unfortunate thing as well, is that unfortunately for YouTube, as it stands at the moment, it will punish you for not putting out.
Yeah.
You know, it
YouTube's
will,
a hard one to crack.
yeah, really hard one.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why we do it is just for the sheer obviousness that
Yeah.
we pride ourselves in the fact that we try to document.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like once that video is out, it can be used however it wants to be used, and but because we look at it from a historical context.
Yeah.
Like I know we're not comparing ourselves. I just want to say, you remember like British Parfait videos, like those black and white videos.
Yeah.
We're not in the same league as that, but we'd like. What I'm trying to get at is, it'd be nice in the future if people look back on like the channel and go, "Oh, that was a period in time when that looked like that."
Yeah. That's
like
it.
the photo, like the postcards.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean,
it.
and all that stuff, but just in video format.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what we want to try and do with
Yeah.
what we do. But I mean, there's a final thing, really, mate. I mean, is there anything you feel that at the moment we need to be aware of?
Maybe I think we need to be more aware of the joys that nature can bring.
Yes.
I think we've kind of almost forgotten that we are nature.
Yeah.
The connection can bring you so much joy, and if you step down to a nature reserve and step away from everything, it just resets your body.
Yeah.
And distracts you from all the pressures in life, and it's a real form of meditation, releasing dopamine, serotonin, and learn to use nature to make you feel better.
Yeah.
It can really help, and I often say getting a dog will help.
Oh,
because
yeah, I know.
It can be a pain to have to walk my dog twice a day, but the escape from the pressures of life when you're walking that dog is brilliant.
I say that all the time.
You need a catalyst to get you outdoors. Buy some new boots.
Yeah.
Get a new tracking app or something just to get you out there and connect and sit down and switch off and enjoy it.
You just need that commitment, don't you?
Yeah.
You just sort of do that. And I think as humans, sadly, we're sort of getting more lazier and
Yeah,
lazier.
we're really coming away from nature, and it's not good for us.
No.
We need that distraction.
The actual idea that, like I said, the fresh air, the actual engagement with that, and meeting like-minded people who go out and stuff like that. Are there any other things you wanted to mention, mate?
Well, don't feel pressure to know everything is really important. I there's a lot I don't know, and I very often forget stuff.
Yes.
So a lot of our wildlife is seasonal, and I'll forget the call, forget the look, and you can often get criticised. It's quite particularly with what are known as twitchers. They're often a league above me, and they know so much. And don't feel the pressure to be as good as those guys.
No.
Just be happy and humble in what you know, and it's all about the curiosity rather than the knowledge.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's just like you said, fundamentally, it's about getting out. And we again comparing, like we say it on our channel, is that just. If you need an excuse to go out, find an excuse. Find a church or find a room. Or find something just to make your day go so that when you get home from however you do, you can say, what did you do today? Oh, we went down to Pegwell Bay and saw some incredible birds or wildlife. Or we went down to Pegwell Bay and we saw an abandoned hoverport. Or whatever the thing is, but you've got a reason to do it, and it breaks you away from your normal mundane. Hey, look, we've all got to go shopping, right? Food shopping, food's essential, right? We've got to do that. But you can also make little plans in there. And the thing that I always say to people is, it is amazing how much history and nature is on your back door if you look for it.
Yeah, that's it.
It might not be obvious.
Yeah.
It might not be really, and actually sometimes I think like even just a normal church might have some incredible history.
Yeah.
Well, we did St George's Church up at Ramsgate.
Oh, nice.
And it was used as an air raid shelter, the crypt. But people wouldn't know that. You might go past that church and might be like, oh, hang on a minute. You didn't realise that actually 90 is a crypt, which is incredible in itself. And there's a photo of a service that was taking place during the air raid shelter.
Yeah.
You know, but you just take it for granted. You're like, oh, that's just a church, been there before, whatever.
And go for a little walk around that church and look at all the stonework and the gargoyles and pay attention.
Well, John Le Mesurier from Dad's Army was buried there.
Oh, really?
Really interesting thing. So, see what I mean? Like, that's
but
what
you can find beauty in a muddy puddle or on a frozen windscreen. You've just got to look for the little things.
Nick, thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate this. We're going to chat a lot off camera anyway. We're going to go really geeky, bro. Not for you. Don't worry about that. We'll save you that. But no, thank you so much, mate. Honestly, really appreciate
Thanks for having me
on. Feel free to check out all the links below. I really encourage you to subscribe if you even just love, hey, look, if you just love nature casually, whatever, go and subscribe to his channel. Support some of the work that he's doing. He's absolutely fantastic and brilliant. I really can't stress that enough. And just get him to, obviously, the more people subscribe, the more he's going to probably show you a few more things. No pressure. All right, take care. See you later, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.